I'm Brother Bob Moriarty, Marianist, member of the Society of Mary, and I serve as the Director of the Pastoral Department for Small Christian Communities for the Archdiocese of Hartford. We produced this Making a Difference video in conjunction with our celebration of the 25th anniversary of the beginnings of small Christian communities here in the Archdiocese of Hartford. The impetus for small communities 25 years ago came from the Renew experience. It was brought to the Archdiocese in the early 80s. As it was coming to a close, folks said, if these small groups are such a good thing, why does this have to end? Then Archbishop John Whalen took that feedback to heart and established the Pastoral Department for Small Christian Communities as the successor to Renew. From the beginning, the dream was to move beyond seasonal small groups to the development of longer-term, parish-rooted small church communities as part of a larger vision for parish as a whole. Over the years, as I've met somebody who I was encountering for the first time and telling them that I was involved with small Christian communities, I would frequently have somebody say to me, "Oh yes, small Christian communities, that's the future of the church." And yet, even though it's a broad intuition that small church communities have an enormous potential and real possibilities for the church, we're caught in a catch-22. The very busyness of people's lives and the very busyness of parish life serves to undercut the possibilities. The busyness of people's lives makes them feel like they can't possibly take the chance to become part of something like a small church community. And the busyness of parish life leaves lots of pastors feeling like they can't take a chance of investing themselves in it. One wag has suggested that the 7 last words of the dying pastor are, "I can't possibly do one more thing." This catch-22 of the busyness and the noisiness of contemporary life is hurting us. And it's hurting our parishes too. In his book, The Holy Longing, Father Ronald Rolheiser, reflecting on the situation of contemporary life, says this: we're more busy than bad. We're more distracted than non-spiritual. We're more interested in the movie theater, the sports stadium, and the shopping mall, and the fantasy life that these produce in us, than we are in church. And then comes the critical line. Pathological busyness, distraction, restlessness. These are the major blocks in our spiritual lives today. Busyness, distraction, restlessness. Do you recognize yourself at all in those words? I certainly recognize myself. And here I am, tooling around the parishes of the Archdiocese day in and day out, encouraging people to slow down, become a little bit more reflective, notice your life, be in touch with the presence of God in the midst of it all. And if truth be told, half the time, I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Let's face it. In spite of ourselves, we're all children of our age. We're jaded by the pace of life. We love it and we hate it. And we're caught by it all. The busyness and noisiness of contemporary life so often cuts us off from ourselves, cuts us off from each other, cuts us off from our sense of the presence of God in our lives. Folks who have found their way into small Christian communities and parishes that promote them have discovered that small church communities do make a real difference in the way people live their lives and the way they participate in the life of their parish as a whole. In a nutshell, a small church community is a group of 8 to 12 adults, or families even better, who come together on a regular basis, typically weekly or every other week, usually in people's homes, although some gather at church. And they gather typically around the Sunday Scriptures. And in that sharing of life and faith around the gospel, they look to make connections between faith and everyday life in a way that makes a difference in their personal lives, at home, at work, in the parish, in the larger world around them. Small church communities are not about coming together to yak about ideas. Small communities are coming together to slow down, for us to notice our lives, and for us to hear God's Word in our midst. Small communities are about really coming together to listen to Christ's Word in the gospel and to let it make a difference in the way we live our lives. Small church communities are about balancing the doing and the being, about being in touch with ourselves, about being in touch with each other, and about being in touch with God. Bringing Christ's gospel, His good news, to the world. This is our mission. But how can we possibly expect to make a difference in the world around us if within the community of faith we are not first making a real difference in each other's lives and faith? I offer these few thoughts simply as an encouragement to folks and to pastors to find a way to break through the catch-22 of busyness and noisiness, and to discover for yourselves the potential and the possibilities of small church communities to enrich people's faith and Christian life, and to animate the life and mission of our parishes. Peace.